Yeah, so good afternoon. Little rip current update from the Jersey Shore. It looks like we're going to start to see the effects of Erin coming in any day now. Could even be tonight. Maybe we might see a little contrast in the water. Yeah, it's the wind's pretty a good sustain, like almost like southeast it feels. Yeah, there could be some rescues this evening, depending on what happens. Depending on how hard that water is going to pull out this afternoon. Like I said, with the storm, it could be like 1,000 miles away, and we could see the effects of it as early as tonight. Or this evening. So you got to watch out for that. Yeah. So just be thankful that the lifeguards are on their game right now, managing the people. The thing with later is that I know I described high tide and low tide. There's a dangerous tide tonight because it's the one that pulls out, and it could pull you into a deeper area where you can't stand, where it's hard to swim out of. So you got to be wary of the tides whenever you go out there, because that's probably the most important thing. The tidal changes alone, if you're a weak swimmer, can sweep you out and not let you back in. So you really need to pay attention to the tides. I'll give you a little view of what today. It's a busy Sunday afternoon. The lifeguards are swamped. Now, people say, how long do the lifeguards want to stay on duty and do that? One of the things is you got to realize is that you see the lifeguards, and when they come on, when most people get down to the beach in the morning, they automatically assume that the lifeguards just got there. But usually lifeguards start training. Lifeguards do their training about an hour or two even before the first person gets there. So to extend their day is like, it's a big ask, right? There's some lifeguards that get down there maybe 6, 7, 8 in the morning, and then you want them to stay till 8 at night. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being in the sun all day. You got to work out. It's draining to work out there. I've done it before, so I know what they go through. So it is a little bit of a big ask to ask them to stay on longer. Then you got to prove overtime and all this extra stuff. So yeah, I know I'll be watching the water tonight. It seems like one of those nights where something can go down. Last night had a close call where I almost had to go in after 2 people, but luckily they were able to swim out of the rip current. It was looking a little dicey, but then they were able to make it out. And I always let them, if I know that they're going to get out, I'll let them fight a little bit, and I'll be like, hey, look, that's just Mother Nature. You just got your warning from Mother Nature that you were able to swim out of that, because there will be a time where it's not going to work out like that. It's not going to work out, right? So that's what I try to tell them, is to be like, yeah, if you look like you're having a hard time out there in something like that, on a day that's just I'm like, can you imagine it being 10 times harder if you got swept in a certain spot? So I usually try to give them that kind of information to be like, hey, you got lucky. I was watching you. This is Mother Nature letting you off the hook. It might not happen again, So that's all I got to say. Hopefully I won't have to report on anything else, and being thankful for the people that are helping me out during these times. Even though I do make these videos of being homeless and everything, there is some nice people out there, especially people that see me around the beach. They know what I'm doing. They have the awareness. I'm not just talking. They're like, dude, I've literally seen you, right? And those are the people that kind of help me and see me around here, Other than just putting it out on social media, you can't always rely on the world to really understand what you're doing until you're actually down here. So, yeah, I'm just thankful for the people that come down here to the shore. Whatever your regulars or your visitors who know me and support me in what I do. Whether it's cleaning the beach, saving lives, my surfing, my working out, my training, right? It's like, well, Dan, why do you train so hard? Because you know what? I train hard because one of the main reasons is because so if I do go out there and have to save somebody, I could rely on my strength. I could rely on my physical ability, so it's not as dangerous as it's to an untrained person who's going to go out there and try to play hero, right? It's just like what, are you going to send a weak fireman into a burning building who can't carry some oxygen tanks, can't put on the layers? You know, it's like you got to train for that. You need to train physically to be strong, to be able to go into a burning building and maybe carry somebody unconscious out, right? So I'm the guy that does that. There's nobody down here. So I feel a lot safer when I'm trained physically, you know, when I feel that strength, when I feel that. It's not just walking around feeling like a tough guy or like I want to fight someone. It is in relation to what I do in my life, you know. So yeah, you know, sometimes I feel a little bit corny and being like, oh, he's playing superhero or whatever, but then you come out with results and you're like, okay, well, look, this is paying off whatever I'm doing. So yeah, that's the kind of rationale that I use. So just want to say aloha and thank you everybody who helps me out in these times. You know, hopefully I get out the truck soon and whatever the world wants to do with me, you know, they need me to get a job or whatever the heck, you know. But while this stuff is going on and I know I can make a difference cleaning the beach and helping out if I need, you know, that's what I was taught, you know, living in Hawaii and being around the water. Is there something a little bit deeper there in the culture and everything like that? So yeah, that's just what I am, and you can't change that. You just can't change it. And you know, sometimes you just got to go rogue or do whatever. So that's what I've been doing.